Yeah, well, we're up for the next Spice Up, and today with a very interesting company, Cognizant, which is a global company providing all kinds of IT solutions, but maybe much more. At the table today is Saket Gulati. I hope I pronounce your name well, but you're from India, but you work in the Netherlands. How come? How long are you already in the Netherlands, and what is your position? Maybe you can tell a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Thank you, Herman. First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity to meet you here and present Cognizant. My name is Saket Gulati. I lead the Northern Europe business for Cognizant, which basically is our business in Nordics, Baltics, and Benelux. So I kind of take care of a talented team, which takes care of our customers in these regions.
All right.
Been a long journey with Cognizant. As you asked, why am I here? 20 years with this great firm.
Yeah.
Started in India 2002. I vividly remember 226 million of revenue, and we've grown to 20 billion. So I've seen this company grow 80, 90, 100%, 100 times in the last 20 years. I spent a lot of time in 3 continents, India, US, and now Europe, and the last 10 years in Amsterdam. So this has been a great ride. Worked across many cultures, built many high-performing teams, understand the nuances as an individual in terms of how you really go building businesses across the continents when the cultures are very, very different. So it's fun to be here. Last 10 years, have played many roles in this company, but the last 10 years in Netherlands as the practice manager, practice heads, and also as a country head for Netherlands, and now the expanded role of running the Northern Europe business.
Okay, yeah, so you end up in the cold part of Europe.
I still think it's much better compared to landing up in the Nordics countries, so I think we're still happy.
Yeah.
We used to live in Seattle before, so I think we were able to adapt between Seattle and Amsterdam. The weather is not so different. But good fun in terms of settling here. It's been a great journey, 10 years in this country. The kids are growing up here, and I think everything is working well. So
okay, very good to hear. Cognizant is, how many people do you employ as a company these days?
So overall, across the globe, we got 355,000 people. So it's increasing by the second, by the hour.
Quite a huge company.
It's quite a huge company. Yeah. I think we have a lot of our business in Americas. So the way we are organized is we have got Americas, EMEA, and APJ. So three broad regions. 75% of business comes from Americas, and the 25% comes from outside Americas. And a lot of delivery happens from across the globe, but a lot of delivery centers in India. So we are an American firm, headquartered in NASDAQ, headquartered in New Jersey, New York, and listed on NASDAQ. But yeah, we take the best of the worlds in terms of bringing in a lot of core competence to the clients, near the clients, and a lot of the delivery from the best locations across the globe, and which includes our delivery centers in India, basically.
Yeah, and how I know you bring a lot of very specialized and high qualified teams to companies to work on certain problems, and you have a wide knowledge on all kinds of things. What is predominantly the kind of business you bring in the Netherlands, for example? Because you're here with the CEO of the Netherlands, and what I'm looking, of course, like what can you bring to the CEO community if they are not know you too well already? But what do you bring to this market, and what kind of services do you predominantly do these days?
So let me take a step back and maybe give you a perspective around Cognizant, and then I will delve a bit more into some use cases, what we do here in Netherlands. So let's start with the purpose of this company, right? Our purpose is to engineer modern businesses to improve everyday lives, right? And this is a very loaded statement, but let me break it down. And this is where I can highlight a few of the differentiation in the capabilities. So when we say engineer modern businesses, we look at engineering modern businesses across 3 elements, right? One is the operating model, one is the business model, one is the technology model. And that's how we are organized. So when we talk about the business model transformation, it's a lot about human insights. It's a lot about consulting. Our ability to drive much more of the vertical thinking, use cases, in life sciences, in healthcare, in retail, in financial services. But we come from a very strong domain background, and that's where our consulting abilities along with human insights helps. When we talk about technology model, the way we look at the whole stack, we look at the customer experience at the beginning. It is supported by apps, which is basically all your applications and SAPs and all. It is supported by data, and then by the infrastructure, which is cloud. And that's how we are organized also as a firm, is we have a practice which focuses on cloud, which is basically about infra transformation, about going to the cloud, about leveraging the new technologies. Then we have data, which is very critical today, especially in the era of GenAI. And then you have the applications, which we have a separate focuses on, things like SAP, Oracle. And the front end is basically driving software product engineering, which basically talks about, product development, full stack engineers and those. So this whole stack is when we talk about technology modernization, this whole stack is used to help companies digitally transform.
Yeah.
And then you have the operating model, just to complete that three picture, which is basically talking about the process transformation. And we look at claims management, insurance, you look at clinical trials. So we got a strong practice which focuses on automation and process transformation. So combine these three is what we bring on the table to the clients to help them digitally transform.
Yeah. And I see, because last week I had a nice discussion with your people about GenAI and AI in general.
Yeah.
And there was a speaker from ING Bank, for example, so you do a lot of with the banking and finance world, I guess.
Yeah.
Manufacturing, what is the kind of proposition you have over there?
So if you look at our strengths, I think we are across verticals, but yes, in the local region, if you look at our business strengths, there's a lot of work we do for financial services clients. As you rightly said, we work with all the banks in the region, especially around the new technology, especially around transformation. If you look at what we call products and resources, that is a combination of manufacturing, logistics, energy utilities, and retail consumer goods. So, that whole sector, which we call products and resources, we work with the likes and the big companies like Nike of the world.
Yeah.
Take an example in terms of, we did a lot of work for retail companies on inventory management, saved around 300 million of cost on inventory management on slow moving stock items. So, that's the kind of work. We work with the likes of agri trading firms to help them modernize their agri infrastructure on the post-trade processing. It's a lot of paperwork, but we combined with the 5 large agri trading firms, which are totaling to $400 billion of revenues across the globe. And we partnered with them to help modernize their agri trading. We work on sustainable solutions for manufacturing companies. We work on cloud migrations, for some of them in terms of modernizing their infrastructure. So the propositions are very broad, starting from consulting all the way down to the core infrastructure. Helping on S4HANA kind of migrations, helping on use cases around modernizing the core platforms around data, which is becoming the core.
Yeah, of course, if you have 350,000 people employed, you can basically touch upon any sector and any kind of troubles or technology solutions.
Yeah. So I think what I would want to highlight is, when we start looking at some of these use cases, there's a very strong focus, and we invested very early into the consulting and the vertical angle.
Yeah.
So when I joined in 2002, we had verticalized at that point of time because we believed that technology would become a commodity. And to some extent, technology is helping to enable the business. But we realized that 20 years back that we have to build competence in domain. If you don't understand what a retail bank is doing versus what a wholesale bank will be doing, versus what a CIO of a company like a Nike would be doing, or versus what a supply chain guy in a business. So what we have organized ourselves is we have taken a lot of folks, a lot of good associates who come from industry knowledge. And these people, along with the core technology folks, I think that's where the magic is made when you're able to understand. And then you have Digital Studio, which is our digital studio in Amsterdam, where we can prototype, leveraging a lot of human insight, we scale up these solutions. And that's end-to-end value chain of looking from a business angle all the way to leveraging our core competency. As you said, 355,000 people. I think we have enough competency available in the company. And then you sit with the customer to make sure that the value is generated where the business and IT landscape get interacted. So.
No, that I fully understand. From another perspective, 20 years ago, it was Nicholas Carr, IT doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He said, everybody's investing in the same kind of IT infrastructure, so where's the competitive edge? These days, and that turns you a little bit to the next question, and what will the future bring in new services from your side, but also in what CIOs should do? Because if IT doesn't matter, because there's hardly any competitive edge in how you organize things, and AI is the next level. Yeah. Everybody's talking about AI. Everybody's busy with it. Everybody is in pilot phase. And last week we had you cooperate with Google Cloud on this proposition, for example. Everybody's working on pilots, but there's hardly any organization that is in the operational phase. If we enter the operational phase, what sets companies apart if they embark on that journey? How because it brought me last week to the conclusion, does AI matter? In the sense like, yes, it does, because if you don't do it, you won't make it.
Yeah.
But if you do it, what sets you apart? What, do you have so can you elaborate a little bit on this thought? What should we do in the next phase with new technologies and especially AI?
Yeah. So Herman, I think, maybe I'll differ a little bit on one part of it, right? 20 years back, absolutely, when you said IT, is just a core back office function, right? You hand it over to IT and get it done. My view today is IT matters more than ever, basically, in the organization, right? And you hear organizations talking, say, I want to be an IT company.
Yeah.
A lot of banks say, we want to be an IT company. That is because IT has become so core and central. It is not about how you organize IT, but it is about a lot of the solutions are driven by IT today. So IT has become a boardroom discussion along with security. Everything is basically right, at that point of that level in terms of really the discussion. So when you said IT doesn't matter, I would say it matters even more. 5 years back in Davos, IT was a side topic. 3 years back, IT became the core topic of discussion on how to solve world hunger, sustainable solution, carbon emissions, how to solve governance issues. So IT is much more core and centered to the boardroom discussion today, I would say. But you're right, it's changing quite a lot, right? We had the cloud wave, we had a new old technology wave. This wave, I think again is, the third wave of technology, if you called it the third wave, basically. I think it will be much more impactful. The question here is, are the organizations ready? And because this will move much faster than the older waves.
And we move into a more autonomous future.
More autonomous.
Because so far, the human part was part of the development or the wave, but the next wave is more autonomous.
Yeah, it is going to be. So the question is for the CIOs is in terms of, the biggest elements is, am I ready, right? And when you're saying you're ready in terms of your organization's resilience, in terms of your governance within an organization. So let's take the example of GenAI, right? If we look at GenAI, there are 4 core things which is basically very critical for a CIO. First important thing is look at it from a human angle. And I again go back to that human insights, because it is going to impact your own organization. It is going to impact your customers, the way customers will consume services from you.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
So if you don't start there, I think you're missing the whole key point, right? Second thing, for a CIO would be saying, is the governance strong enough and is assurance strong enough? I'm just taking GenAI as an example because that's the most critical discussion today. But are we ready from a governance angle within the company? Because every company is very complex.
Probably not.
Probably not, right? I think so that's where, we are helping companies saying, how do you really get ready that there is a right amount of governance, because this can go haywire in an organization.
So this is the kind of proposition you're preparing now to help companies to get ready.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is the phase where we are now.
Absolutely. This is the experimentation phase going on. We see use cases coming up. A lot of it is internal productivity around with Microsoft and with Google's and all, right? We work with them also, but a lot of organizations are focusing on employee productivity. But it will impact your business models. It will impact claims management, for example, clinical drug discovery. So all of it is basically in early stages. But organizations are also getting ready to say, okay, do I have governance and assurance? Do I have data which is ready? Because bulk of GenAI is in terms of how strong your data is within your organization.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies have invested for the last 20 years, but we still see companies struggling to have a single view of their own data source, right? And then the whole part of regulation, ethics, AI. So when an organization has to look at some of these things, they have to move very fast, because all of these will be very critical for them to succeed.
Yep.
And most of the organizations are not ready. And this is where companies like us, Cognizant for sure, we have frameworks, platforms being built. We are investing into those for the future. For example, we built platform on Neuro IT, which is basically using AI on IT operations, right? So, you can go and implement it as a customer and help them solve some of the problems at least.
Yeah, but for example, I can imagine that you make it a global platform, but on the other hand, European legislation is different than American legislation. Yeah. So you will enter, certain discussions like, well, how do you apply or deploy a platform in Europe? And so there's a difference, or there will be a difficulty for a global company. Like
you're right, and I think I'm not, I'm not saying that we are not thinking about it. A lot of times when we say platforms, these are platforms which we can implement on premise in a customer, so we don't need to always be on the cloud. Yeah. So when you look at European regulation, a lot of it is when you are on the cloud, hosting it out of other countries in India. The GDPR and all are very strong regulation. But some of these are small pieces of platforms which you can also implement customers.
Exactly.
Side. I think so. We are adapting also in terms of what local needs are there. And when I say, and to your point also on what we're doing, A lot of it is localization. So we have invested in this region for the last 10 years, 15 years. We have opened up the digital studio here. We're looking at local ecosystem, the partnership with universities like TU Delft and the University of Kent around ethical AI. So we are investing much more in terms of building our local ecosystem, because this is where the localization of solutions, localization of people, localization of customers, I think is critical for us to succeed.
Is this also where we fit in as CIONET?
I think
as the regional or local ecosystem, because we do business together with you in Belgium and maybe some other countries, but also in the Netherlands now.
I think my belief is you're doing a wonderful job in getting this community together. I think, and when we were looking at your infrastructure setup also outside, I think it's a great thing to get everybody together. I think, and that is a job which you're doing wonderfully well, because today you can't do everything on your own.
No,
it is about partnerships. It's about the ecosystem, because the world is moving, as I said, so fast. If you start to invent every time, and this is where we can offer something back to CIONET, and we can take a lot of things from you, because you bring in that community of the CIOs together. We bring in our insights, and we just did an event with Google again, and with you.
I was there.
You were there, so and I think and again the feedback I got was, it was an open discussion about a lot of challenges which nobody has solved. Right? I think that is what we have to do in today's world, is to get people together, do some brainstorming, do whiteboarding, pick up things which can be taken, scale it up, and then offer it back to the community. Right? I think that's where we could definitely partner together.
That's where we find each other. Well, on that note, thank you very much. And up to the next Spice Up, but this was a nice one. Cognizant. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Herman.